dates all the way back to Aristotle, and it's based on the belief and now the proven technique that in order to change, you can't think your way to being more positive. You've got to do things, you got to act, and then your mind will follow. What is the 5-second rule? It's a tool that will help you stop thinking and start doing. Do good, be good, and then your mind will follow. The fourth principle, and that's the golden rule of habits. Now, I could spend 2 or 3 hours just talking about habit research, and whether you read Charles Duhigg's best-selling book or Gretchen Rubin's book on habits, or you watch a number of TED Talks, all researchers believe that habits come down to one golden rule, and that's this. You can never change the things that trigger you. You can't control your urges or how you might feel, but you can always choose how you behave. If you want to break a habit, once you have a habit, it's always going to be encoded in your brain. The only way that you can break it is to replace it with new behavior. There's also something in the research around habits called a starting ritual. A starting ritual is a repeated behavior that you adopt in order to trigger a new habit. The 5-second rule is so incredibly powerful when it comes to breaking old habits and adopting new ones because, number one, the 5-second rule and counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, is a starting ritual. It will interrupt the old behavior pattern and it will trigger a new one. The 5-second rule over time, and this is really cool, actually becomes the new pattern of behavior. Instead of stopping yourself with self-doubt or blowing things off or overeating, you have a new pattern of behavior. You catch yourself. You gain control. You have confidence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do the thing that you know you want to do. And finally, the principle called activation energy. Now, activation energy is something that was first introduced into the field of human behavior and psychology several decades ago by a rock star professor at the University of Chicago that studied a state of flow. His name was Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and he was one of the first really to study human behavior, human performance, and he coined this term activation energy. He actually borrowed it from chemistry. And it's a term that describes this phenomenon. In order to start any kind of chemical reaction, it takes a tremendous amount of energy to create that initial spark. A lot more energy to start it than to keep it going. There's a direct correlation to you and me. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to just get started? How hard it is to get to the gym? How hard it is to get out of bed? How hard it is to put down the bottle when you go to pour a second drink and you know you shouldn't? That feeling, how hard it is to get started, this is what Mihai's talking about. You need activation energy to start the chain, to start to sit down, to start to get out of bed, to start to walk out the door. That's the key to creating any kind of change. This activation energy inside of you that causes the initial boom. And then what do we hear over time? Once you start, there's a chain reaction, and that allows you to keep going. So what's this have to do with the 5-second rule? Freaking everything. The 5-second rule creates activation energy in you. The 5-second rule is how you activate change inside of you. It is a tool. When you start counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you awaken your prefrontal cortex. You begin the process of changing. You push yourself in a new direction. That first push, that's going to be the hardest. Once you get moving, it gets so much easier. So those are just 5 psychological, scientific principles that explain the power of the 5-second rule. Personally, while the science is really interesting, I'm actually more inspired by the hundreds of thousands of people that we've heard from around the world, just like you and me, that are using this rule, not based on science, but using it in their lives and seeing remarkable results. The science explains it, but you're going to be absolutely amazed at what happens when you actually start to use this simple and powerful tool. You're not only going to blow up the system in your head and the tricks that your brain uses to stop you right now, you're going to shake up your entire life. To learn more about the 5-second rule, the science behind it, and how you can use it, I want you to check out Chapter 4 in my book. It goes into greater detail about all of the science. And in fact, the entire Part 2 of the book is going to dig deep, deep, deep into all the concepts that we talked about and all the ways in which you stop yourself. The 5-second rule is available on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and at your local bookstore. Oh, and by the way, your 5-second rule book also comes with 31 video mentoring sessions to deepen your mastery of the rule for lasting results. Now, these mentoring sessions will be delivered to your email inbox for free, and information on how to get these videos is on the very last page of the book. And to learn more about the 5-second rule and other research-backed strategies to help you live your best life, there's a ton of free resources at melrobbins.com. If you ever have the instinct to reach out, please use the 5-second rule and make yourself do it. Just tag me on social media using the hashtag 5-second rule, or shoot me an email at hello@melrobbins.com. I love hearing from you. Now, give us a few days to get back in touch with you, but we will absolutely respond if you take the time to trust your instincts and reach out. Look, it takes 5 seconds to change your life. So the next time you feel yourself hesitate or your instincts come alive, that's the moment to stop thinking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start living.